You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4. We're bringing you some brand new, shocking video tonight of the fight that led to a bus crashing into an East Side restaurant. And we want to warn you, this video is graphic and may be upsetting to some viewers. This is video of the incident that led to a Madison Metro bus crashing into the Asian House restaurant.
And this happened back in February. 26-year-old Raven Johnson was convicted and sentenced to 3 years in prison after attacking the driver. Now in the video, you can see her attacking the driver as the bus was stopped and the bus was rolling forward onto Milwaukee Street, and then it crashes into the Asian House. Raven continued to attack the driver after the crash. Prosecutors say Johnson attacked the driver after the driver said the route did not go to her stop.
2 people, including the driver, were injured in that crash. One was taken to a nearby hospital. And since the crash, Madison Metro's general manager stepped down at the end of May. That move came after a months-long contract negotiation for Metro workers and followed a string of other attacks on city bus drivers. Johnson will also serve 3 years of extended supervision and is banned from any Madison Metro property, including city buses. She is scheduled to have a restitution hearing on December 5th.
And we are following some breaking news today. A federal grand jury has indicted former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton. It's for charges of mishandling classified information, accusing him of sending sensitive national security documents through a personal AOL email account. The indictment says Bolton transmitted materials related to foreign policy matters while communicating with outside contacts after leaving the White House. Bolton was Trump's national security advisor from April 2018 until his firing in September 2019.
Let's get a check on the weather now. It's another cloudy but mild afternoon outside. Blaze Keller is out on the patio. We still expecting some showers on the way, Blaze?
That's right. We're going to continue to see that chance for showers not only overnight but into Friday and continuing Saturday night, finally wrapping up by Sunday. We'll start out near Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. We're at 65 degrees, seeing some peaks of sunshine, but just off to our south there is a little bit of rain now pushing more into Lafayette County. But we'll take it into that little shower there just outside of Platteville, moving in over Cuba City, Elk Grove as well. Maybe between us and Dickeyville in Grant County, we're dealing with a little light rain activity. More of that consistent rain well off to our north in the Dells, around Newchester, Preston, Camp Douglas, in Juneau and Adams County, south and east into Buffalo there outside of Portage. We're dealing with a little bit of that minor to moderate rain activity, and I think most of that rain is actually going to stay off north of the Dells overnight. But we will maybe squeeze out a shower or two elsewhere underneath mostly cloudy conditions, and then we get ready for Friday. Expect a very similar day weather condition wise, kind of mostly cloudy to partly sunny at times, and then that rain moves in and breezy conditions as we go later into Friday. We're hanging out in the 50s tonight. We'll take a look at the rain chances over the weekend and how much rain we could pick up coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Blaze. In just an hour, the Brewers will take on the LA Dodgers once again for Game 3 of the NLCS series.
But this time they're in California. They're out at Dodger Stadium, but that doesn't mean that fans aren't cheering the team on from afar. Our Maddie Heimsch is live tonight on Lucky's on Regent Street. Well, she'll be talking with fans throughout the night. Maddie, first pitch is just after 5 p.m. How are the fans feeling out there?
Susan and Brady, I'm at Lucky's on Regent Street, where we're waiting for a watch party for Game 3 between the Brewers and the Dodgers in the series tonight. Now, not exactly a full house quite yet. It's still early. It's only 4 o'clock. The game doesn't start for another hour, but we are seeing some people start to file in. And I did already speak to a couple very loyal fans over at the bar who tell me they're not worried about the Brewers' performance in this series. Now, the Brewers did lose earlier in the week. They're coming into to tonight's game 0-2 against the Dodgers, having lost 2-1 on Monday and 5-1 on Tuesday. Both of those games at home at AmFam Field. So they're really going across the country now for Game 3 as the underdogs, not only with the score, but going up against the Dodgers, who are the defending World Series champions. But the Brewers had the best record in regular season baseball this year, so the fans I talked to say if there's anyone that can overcome that underdog status, it is this team of Brewers. So we are going to stay here throughout the night, watching the game, continuing to get a temperature check with the fans, and hopefully getting ready to do some celebrating tonight. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio. Reporting live from Regent Street, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
All right, Maddie, good luck to the Brew Crew. Thank you so much. We'll check back in just a little while. Technology and teamwork saved a life in Iowa County last night around 7:15. Dispatchers received a 911 call from a 22-year-old hunter near Mill Road in Ridgeway Township, suffering from a serious injury and heavy bleeding. Using a system called What 3 Words, dispatchers pinpointed the hunter's exact location, even in a remote wooded area with no landmarks. The Iowa County Sheriff's Office says the system divides the world into 10-foot squares that can be pinpointed even without GPS service.
The Wisconsin DNR is celebrating the start of the 2025 elk hunting season this Saturday. It's the state's 8th elk season since reintroducing the species, and the first-year hunters can harvest antlerless elk. 13 hunters were randomly selected from more than 26,000 applicants. The DNR says both the Clam Lake and Black River elk herds are thriving thanks to strong recruitment and a successful calving season. Applications for the 2026 elk hunt open March 1st, and that goes through May 31st.
We're taking a live look now. This is downtown Oshkosh. We're just a little bit up the road. The Oshkosh Farmers Market has dropped the Winnebago County Democratic Party booth. The controversy started after a child was allegedly given a bracelet reading, "Is he dead yet?" and that referred allegedly to President Trump. Market managers say the Democratic Party tent will be absent from the final 2 weeks of the market while the board reviews its policies. The state Democratic Party says the materials came from an unauthorized volunteer and it does not reflect their values.
After a long wait, Dane County Parks says the Sugar River Wildlife Area is open to the public. It's located in the towns of Montrose and Verona. The property spans nearly 1,000 acres along Badger Mill Creek and the Sugar River. Visitors can snowshoe, hike, or use one of 2 canoe kayak landings to paddle the river. Officials say portions of the property also serve as a Dane Demo farm site, which is part of a research initiative that looks to demonstrate innovative farming methods and conservation practices. Next on Live at 4, it's Friday Eve in the 608, and Josh is letting us know what's going on in our area.
And stock car drivers are going full throttle for the fight at the Dells Raceway Park. How you can enjoy the races and help out the cause of breast cancer research.
And your weekend plans might have to be moved inside with more rain on the way. In the first warn forecast, Blaze will let you know if you need an umbrella or just to stay in with a nice cup of hot apple cider.
That sounds lovely. And then the Senate failed again today to pass a funding bill to end the government shutdown. How the economy is starting to feel the effects of the shutdown when Live at 4 returns.
You're watching News 3 Now, Live at 4.
Happy Thursday, everyone, aka Friday Eve.
Right.
That means we're working for the weekend in the 608.
Josh Breiter has the weekend planner for your family.
We've already hit the halfway point of October, and with the leaves finally changing, it is time to get outside. Here are your 3 things to do this weekend in the 608. Off-road enthusiasts will hit the trails again this weekend as part of the 16th annual Southern Wisconsin Guided Trail Rides. On Saturday, riders can expect a scenic loop through private Dane County land beginning in Ashton. There are field crossings, wooded areas, and trails for every skill level. ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, mini bikes, you name it, they are welcome with safety gear required. The event runs from 10 to 5, weather permitting. Then bikers get an opportunity to hit those same trails on Sunday. Fall fun is back in downtown Sun Prairie. This Saturday, families can enjoy a full day of celebrating the season. Cannery Square will be packed with a farmer's market, live music, and activities for all ages. Highlights include a pie baking contest, pumpkin decorating, a chili cook-off, and scarecrow displays throughout downtown. Local businesses will also be offering special deals, treats, and giveaways. The event is free, running from 7 to 4, with some activities at a small cost. Halloween fun is taking over Schumacher Farm Park this weekend. Saturday from 4 to 8, families can explore a witch's house, enjoy games, crafts, and marshmallow roasting, even take a spooky wagon ride through the fields of Waunakee. Live entertainment includes the Waunakee High School Fiddle Band and a magic show inside the historic barn. Kids can get their faces painted, try balloon art, or even visit the Center for Rural History for more activities. All proceeds benefit prairie restoration and community programs at the farm. For more ideas this weekend in the 608, just go to channel3000.com. In the 608, I'm Josh Brighter, News 3 Now.
Sounds good. Thanks, Josh. Well, another event to look at as we race to the weekend. Saturday at the Dells Raceway Park, drivers and fans will come together for a special fundraiser called Full Throttle for the Fight. The event supports the Breast Cancer Research Foundation with 100% of proceeds going directly to the cause. Supporters can write names on pink ribbon stickers that are placed on the race cars, each one honoring someone affected by breast cancer. The day also features raffle prizes, pink-themed cars, and community donations, all starting at 11 a.m. at Dells Raceway Park. Tickets for adults are $25. Another great cause. Well, let's get a look at our first warn forecast. All these events sound like fun if the rain can hold off, Blaze.
And it does look like the heaviest rain is going to hold off during the daytime hours on Saturday. And actually throughout Sunday, we will be seeing more sunshine. So the heaviest rain, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment, looks to maybe fall Saturday night into the start of Sunday. We'll squeeze out a few more showers tonight, especially further north, and on Friday, kind of picking up here as we go into the second half of the day, maybe dodging some showers, as we're doing Friday night football. But as I mentioned, the heaviest rain is going to maybe hold off until Saturday night. So what is happening? Well, we've got a big low pressure system moving its way through the Dakotas, and it's going to go just straight north into Canada. Some of these showers are going to be moving their way overhead as we go into Friday. It's going to be breezy. Those winds will be out of the southwest, and a mix of mostly cloudy to partly sunny. There's that rain as we head into the mid to late afternoon hours on Friday, and then as we go into Saturday, I think most of that rain is going to stay off towards the southeast. And the reason is because this is where the cold front is going to eventually settle. And it's going to help guide in yet another low pressure system. Not something we typically see in this part of the United States because we're a little bit further away from the mountain areas where some of the rotation from these passing fronts can get stuck and then form a new low pressure system. So what we see is that happening. Here's that second low developing and moving through the Chicagoland area as we head into Sunday. If we were in the heart of winter, this would be bringing us more of that lake effect snow. Thankfully, or maybe not thankfully, depending on who you ask, it's not that cold yet, but its path is going to be optimal for some of that moisture to be pulled off of Lake Michigan and really soak, especially southeastern parts of Wisconsin, as we head Saturday night into Sunday. By Sunday, I would say early afternoon onward, we are starting to see more sunshine as our next high pressure system moves on in. So in terms of rain, we're looking at the best rain chances to be across southeastern Wisconsin. I would say probably to the tune of about a half an inch to maybe an inch and a half of rain. Further to the west, not as great, probably going to be topping out at about a half to 3/4 of an inch of rain because we're a little bit farther from that low expected to move through Saturday night into Sunday. But overall, this is some great news because up to this point, and this is just for Madison, but this kind of extends to most of southern Wisconsin, it's been a very lackluster and dry first half of October. In fact, our rainiest day was yesterday, and we only picked up 9/100ths of an inch of rain, and we usually pick up nearly 3 inches by the end of the month. So we could use a little bit more rain, and thankfully we've got a couple of rainy days here, but I think the best chance is going to be Saturday night into Sunday. And then next week, we'll hang out in the 50s and 60s with rain possibly Monday and then again next Wednesday.
All right, and that W on Saturday gives you a little hint of what's coming up on Live at 4. The Badgers are playing Ohio State this Saturday. We'll show you what time you can watch right here on News 3 Now.
And the Packers are trying to keep their momentum after last week's win over the Bengals. Jason Wilde, our Packers senior writer, tells us how likely it is to keep the ball rolling.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
The Packers are playing the Cardinals this Sunday.
Our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde tells us about an early trade which is setting the stage for a game a few weeks out.
When Micah Parsons first got here and joined the Green Bay Packers via that trade at the start of the season, he told us that he might say a few things that he shouldn't from time to time. Today might have been one of those days. The Packers defensive end talking about a variety of topics, including his frustration with how often he's being held by opposing offensive linemen. Actually mentioned some other controversial topic, the Philadelphia Eagles tush push. And he said that's probably the one thing they've got going for themselves offensively consistently right now. Now, the Packers don't play the Philadelphia Eagles this week. That's a few weeks down the road. Their focus is on the Arizona Cardinals and getting a win on the road. And Micah Parsons is focused on that too, but you can guarantee that that'll be showing up on a bulletin board or two in Philadelphia in the coming weeks before they see each other next month on Monday Night Football. We'll have full coverage of everything Packers and everything Micah Parsons, including his frustration with those holding calls, on our website, channel3000.com, where our Packers coverage is always free. And speaking of free, you can also get our Packers newsletter delivered directly to your inbox for free, so you can get our Packers coverage the easiest way possible. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Jason. Those things, by the way, behind Jason are heaters on the field. I had to ask somebody what that was.
Neat.
Also in football news, as you know, the Badgers are playing the #1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes on Saturday. You can watch that game right here on WISC TV. Kickoff is scheduled for 2:30 Saturday afternoon. Ohio State is undefeated at the moment. It's going to be a tough game. The Badgers are 2-4.
Well, you may want to listen up if you have some rice in your pantry. Ben's Original is recalling a limited number of its products because they may contain small stones. The recall applies only for its whole grain brown, long grain white, and long grain and wild ready rice products. They all have a best buy date of August 2026. The recalled products were sold at Target, Amazon, and Piggly Wiggly. The company says they may contain small stones from the rice farm.
And speaking of recalls, the FDA has found 4 makers of ground cinnamon that have elevated levels of lead in them. Ground cinnamon from Haitai, Roshini, Dura, and Wise Wife have joined a dozen other brands that may be unsafe to consume. The FDA says it has asked all of the companies except for Haitai to voluntarily recall its products, and you can find the full list on the FDA's website.
Republicans rolled out a new plan today to try to fund parts of the government during the shutdown. It's the first new spending measure to come to the floor since the shutdown began 16 days ago. The Senate took a procedural vote on a bill that would fund the Pentagon and pay U.S. service members during the shutdown, but it failed to get the votes needed to move forward with the legislation.
It would take just a handful of Democrats to reopen the government.
Senate Republicans continue to do the same exact thing and expect different results. That's the classic definition of legislative insanity.
Democrats insist any deal must include an extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Republicans say reopening the government should come first.
Automaker Stellantis is in hot water with the Canadian government after it announced plans to move production of the Jeep Compass to the United States. The Canadian government is now threatening to take legal action over the automaker's decision to move manufacturing from a facility near Toronto to one in Illinois. Stellantis says the move will create more than 3,000 American jobs as part of a $13 billion investment to expand operations across the U.S. Canadian officials say the decision breaks a promise that Stellantis made after receiving public funding. Well, still to come on Live at 4, we're checking in with Brewers fans ahead of today's game against the Dodgers and how they think the Brew Crew will turn things around so far in this 0-2 series.
Plus, dramatic new video is showing the moment a Madison bus driver was attacked, causing them to crash into an East Side restaurant.
You're watching News 3 Now, Live at 4.
Welcome to Live at 4 on this Thursday. For the first time, we're able to see the fight that led to a bus crashing into a restaurant on Madison's East Side. And we want to warn you, this video may be difficult for some viewers to watch. Now, a 26-year-old will face 3 years in prison.
The crash happened back in February. Tanasia Shaw is breaking down this video. And Tanasia, I remember this crash actually injured 2 people, right?
Yep, this crash left a bus driver and another person with injuries. In this new video that you're seeing, the altercation starts about 90 seconds after the 26-year-old that you're seeing, Raven Johnson, walks onto the bus. You see Johnson attempts to pay, but the driver pulls her card out of the slot. Then Johnson and the bus driver talk back and forth for about 20 seconds, and then you can see the 26-year-old strike the driver and continues to attack him. During this altercation, you can see the bus starts to move, likely because the driver's foot is off of the brake now. Moments later, the driver makes a turn and then crashes into the Asian house on the east side of Madison. Prosecutors say this attack happened because the bus wasn't going where Johnson, the 26-year-old, wanted to go. And this is just part of the video. I will be breaking down the rest of it during our 5 and 6 p.m. newscast tonight. But for now, Susan and Brady, I'm going to send it back to you.
Thank you, Tanasia. Police in Madison say they arrested an 18-year-old man early this morning after following up on reports of 2 suspicious people running through backyards, checking vehicle doors and house doors. Officers say they saw the 2 people wearing face masks and gloves while riding bikes just off Raymond Road. Police say they abandoned the bikes and left behind a shoe and a gun. One person was arrested on a resisting charge. The other is still at large.
Let's take a look outside today. Cloudy, but still mild. You can see some people wearing coats and others. It's hard to decide if you need a jacket today or not. The weather words: more rain is on the way. Blaze is out on the weather patio. When can we expect that rain, Blaze?
We're going to continue to see that chance for rain through the rest of this evening for some folks into Friday, Saturday night, finally wrapping up for the most part Sunday morning. We're taking a live look on our Edgewater Sky Cam in downtown Madison, where it's a comfortable 65. Winds are light and out of the southeast. Tomorrow they're going to pick up in speed as we see them turn out of the southwest. So that's going to bump our temperatures up to near 80 to end the work week. We'll take it into parts of Columbia County, Green Lake, and Marquette counties, up there towards Buffalo, outside of Portage, Rio, into Randolph, maybe making their way into Waupun. That's where we have a little bit of that light to moderate rain activity. Juneau and Adams County, New Chester, Adams, into Camp Douglas, Necedah, and into the Mauston area. We also find a little bit of that rain, and then just a little shower continuing to make its way just to the east of Shullsburg and south of Darlington. This is kind of what we can expect through the rest of this evening. Mainly further north, though, where we find more of that rain right now, is where we're likely going to see more of that rain tonight as temperatures settle into the 50s and 60s. But at this point in the year, we should be flirting with the upper 30s for overnight lows. So it is going to be a mild night. Now, temperatures are going to stay mild tonight, and we're going to near the 80s on your Friday. What are temperatures like for the rest of the upcoming work week? Just a few days away. We'll take a look at that and more in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Well, we're about a half an hour away now from Game 3 as the Brewers take on the LA Dodgers in the NLCS.
Let's go. Maddie Heimsch is in downtown Madison, ready to watch the game with fans. Hey, Maddie.
Like you guys said, Game 3 tonight at 5 o'clock, and the Brewers are heading into this game against the LA Dodgers 0-2 in this series, and it's the first game that they won't be at home at AmFam Field, so you might anticipate some nervous energy heading into this game from fans, and there might be a little bit of that, but I'm here at Lucky's on Regent Street talking to fans as they kind of pile in, getting ready for that game, and all I'm really hearing from them is optimism.
I think they do. The pitching tonight, I think, is going to be much better, and the bats have been slow lately, but I think they're going to bring them out tonight, and I feel good about it.
They've come on strong at the end of the game sometimes, but hopefully I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Obviously, the Dodgers here looking to get to the World Series for a repeat of the championship that they had last year, but the Brewers were the most successful team in the regular season in all of baseball this year, so fans really tell me that they think if anyone can overcome this series, it's going to be the Brewers. So we are going to stay here downtown on Regent Street at Lucky's, maybe a couple different bars, find some different fans, get a temperature check heading into the game, and stay throughout the game. Hopefully do some celebrating tonight, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio. Reporting live on Regent Street, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Maddie. Yeah, celebrating sounds good.
It does.
Good luck to the Brewers. Alliant Energy says a 100-megawatt battery in Grant County is online. In Potosi, the newly operational battery stores solar energy, among other resources, and releases it to the grid as needed. The battery sits next to the Grant County Solar Project, which hosts a 200-megawatt array that can power 50,000 homes at peak times. Officials say this reduces the need for traditional power grid updates and ensures preparedness for outages and severe weather.
The nation's largest banks are reporting a big jump in profits from last year, but many Americans say they are struggling. According to a new survey by Primerica, about 69% of middle-income Americans say their income is falling behind the cost of living. That's up from 50% 5 years ago. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger explains why many are feeling the pinch.
The cumulative effect of inflation, prices at the grocery store, prices for daycare, prices for housing, prices for healthcare, that is putting pressure on people. Even if you are lucky enough to have a retirement plan at work, that is for decades in the future.
The survey also found about half of Americans are increasingly using their rainy day emergency fund to make ends meet, with fewer people paying off their credit card balances month to month.
Next on Live at 4, Milwaukee is looking to implement a new rule when it comes to cars recovered after reckless driving incidents.
How the local impound bill could spread to other cities around the state.
And in the first Warren forecast, we are finding out when more rain is coming through this weekend.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
A bipartisan bill is heading to Governor Evers' desk that would add new consequences for reckless driving offenses.
This after local leaders pushed for tougher penalties. Jenna Wells explains how the law may lead to safer roads.
A soon-to-be state law will let police bring cars used by reckless drivers to the tow lot. It's a penalty that Milwaukee leaders have wanted on the books for years.
People are dying, and by taking away the tools they use to inflict injury on the public, we're taking a major step forward in arresting the problem.
The state legislature has passed a bill allowing law enforcement to impound vehicles used in reckless driving offenses regardless of the car's owner. It stems from a resolution introduced by Milwaukee Alderman Lamont Westmoreland 2 years ago.
We're always looking at ways to improve, and a lot of things that we want to do, we need to change state law.
Current law allows police to tow reckless drivers' cars only if the driver owns the car and is a repeat offender. The bill passed by the state Senate Tuesday allows them to impound any cars used in reckless driving.
If you choose to put the community and you choose to put lives at risk, we're taking the car. We're going to impound the car, and we're going to put it right here.
Drivers will have 90 days to pay all city fees and any registration costs to get their car back, or it will be destroyed. If the car was stolen, the owner will be contacted and fees will be waived. Milwaukee's tow lot has 300 spots prepared.
I do anticipate, I imagine there'll be an influx right off the bat. I guess the hope, though, is the message is sent, and over time we see less and less tows.
The hope is that we can make some examples out of a few people.
Governor Tony Evers is expected to sign this bill into law. After that, municipalities like the city of Milwaukee will have to enact an ordinance in order for it to go into effect. And Alderman Westmoreland says he already has one drafted and ready to go. Reporting in Milwaukee, Jenna Wells, CBS 58 News.
Thank you, Jenna. Milwaukee officials say they hope this law will serve as a strong deterrent and help make Milwaukee streets safer for everyone.
Coming up on Live at 4, the next edition of Madison Magazine is out right now.
When we come back, by one of our very own producers. We'll talk about that when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
We're taking a live look at White Bear Lake in Minnesota. The weather there is a cloudy 61 degrees, and this spot is just a few miles away from downtown Minneapolis. Pretty there.
Beautiful, very pretty.
Yeah. Well, the November issue of Madison Magazine is in your mailbox and on newsstands right now.
This month's cover story is a list of 50 destination restaurants all across the state. And also in the November issue, a feature-length story about political violence written by our very own Live-at-Four producer, Maggie Degnan. We're very proud of Maggie for that. Andy Bailing is the editor of Madison Magazine. Hi, Andy. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me on.
Congratulations on this issue. The pictures alone will make you so hungry. This must have been fun to research. Tell us about the 50 destination restaurants.
It was very fun to research. Me and Emma Waldinger, our food editor, kind of tag team this, but we really we spent a long time trying to curate it, and we reached out to local chefs and other people in the food scene to ask them, where do you like to go to eat in the Wisconsin area? And we love the Madison food scene. We cover it every month, and there's Madison features in this issue too. But we decided, here's a fun way to, take a road trip. It's fall. You see some of the fall colors, and you go for a dining destination. And it's from fine dining to bakeries and other marketplaces. So it really runs the gamut.
I like this idea because I suppose in addition to finding great food, you kind of get to know the people and the culture of all these different areas.
Oh, totally. Yeah, these places help tell the stories of some of these towns, and you get to meet people in an atmosphere where they're excited and happy to have you, and it's just a really fun experience. And you get to experience some of those very quintessential Wisconsin traditions. I went to one of the places on the list is Peltier's Fish Boil in Door County.
Oh, in Door County.
Either of you guys have been to a fish boil? Oh my God, it's one of my favorite things to do, and it's so fun just to get to experience. That is a true food experience here in Wisconsin.
How far did you travel? Did you go way up north?
Our list, we made sure that there's places all across the state. I think as far as I went up was Door County, but we've got a restaurant in Eagle River in here, but it's all over. There's a driftless region place where you're fed dinner by French nuns, which is pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't go to that place, but I went to a restaurant called Love Child, which I know you
in La Crosse.
In La Crosse, that place is outstanding. So we kind of give a little history or story about each place, so you kind of have a little primer before you go.
Yeah. I keep looking at these pictures and I don't know why.
Your mouth will start watering.
I'm hungry now. Don't look at these on an empty stomach. We also have a great article about political violence and what we've been seeing. What was the, purpose for that?
Yeah, this was a big story, and Maggie Degnan, I'm just so grateful that she was willing to take it on. Political violence, it's a national story, but it's also a very local story, and the instances of political violence that we've experienced in the last couple weeks, months, have been something that I think we wanted to take a second and talk to our locals, lawmakers, judges, and other people that take part in the political process to ask, do you feel safe to participate in the political process, and what are, we looked at, Maggie looked into Capitol safety, and kind of just the conversation around how do we move forward and how do we protect democracy as we experience these acts of political violence.
It's a very important read, very worthwhile read. What else in the November issue do you want to highlight?
Like I said, I don't want people to get, the 50 dining destinations. There's also a lot of Madison dining coverage in this issue. We also talk about the cannibal sandwich. Annika,
oh my gosh.
It's almost that time for us to talk about the cannibal sandwich again, so we ask a question about that in this issue. And yeah, lots more in this one. I'm happy about this issue.
When I lived in South Dakota, they called it tiger meat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it seems like every little place has its own thing.
Totally.
Anyway, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Our stomachs are growling. Congratulations, Andy. It's a great issue.
Thank you.
And it's available right now online and in paper.
Yes.
There you go. All right, great day to get some comfort food, Blaze.
That is right, and it's going to continue to be a comfort food sort of week ahead as temperatures, while they'll climb to near 80 tomorrow, settle more into the 50s and 60s next week. So we are looking at the upper 70s to low 80s tomorrow, underneath a mix of mostly cloudy and some peaks of sunshine here and there. The reason why we're going to be so warm tomorrow, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment, is because of the breezy southwesterly winds. Rain is going to continue into Friday, mainly into the evening and throughout the weekend, but as we talked about earlier in Live at 4, the best chance for rain on the weekend is probably going to be Saturday night into Sunday. So this low pressure system is going to bring us those breezy conditions on Friday. You can see those arrows on Future Track racing out of the southwest. They're going to be bringing up that warmth. That cold front will eventually slide its way eastward, bringing us that chance for rain into the evening hours on Saturday, and then Sunday a second low develops, bringing a better chance for more of that soaking rain Saturday night into Sunday across eastern parts of Wisconsin. Friday, if you're going to be heading out, just know that those winds out of the southwest gusting upwards of 20, 25, maybe even 30 miles per hour at times, especially into the afternoon. That's usually around the time that our temperatures start to be a little bit different, and a very, very long-winded explanation shortened down. Different temperatures can cause breezy conditions. So that's kind of why we get breezier into the morning hours and then into the late afternoon. But let's focus on these temperatures over the next 7 to 10 days. Much warmer than average Friday and Saturday. We're in those 70s, particularly on Friday. Once this cold front passes, a little bit more seasonable, just a few degrees minus Monday there, above average. So closer to where we should be for this time of year. And I think we're going to stay warmer than average, despite the fact that NOAA has officially put out today their winter weather outlook for the upcoming winter. Because we're still expecting that weak La Nina, this is very classic La Nina setup. Cooler off to the north and west, warmer to the south. However, if you caught our winter ready special last night, or if you haven't, I did a little bit of research as to what do we typically see during weak La Ninas. And while NOAA is expecting cooler than average temperatures, and for my snow lovers out there, I really am hoping it is that case, but statistically, we tend to be warmer than average over or during weaker La Nina events. We also tend to be snowier than average too. Out of the 8 events over the last 30 years, 75% of them, so 6 out of those 8, were warmer than average and snowier than average. Nearly all of them were wetter than average. So I agree with NOAA on that, because they are predicting a wetter than average winter for us. I just disagree with the temperatures. Again, we'll just have to take it day by day. We have had some of our coldest winters on record on weak La Nina events. You can read all about that in my latest Beyond the Barometer. But next week, we're back into the 50s and 60s with rain to start off next week, and then again, possibly next Wednesday.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Well, most Eagles want to soar above the clouds. Not all of them, though. 2 pro sports mascots decided to come down to earth, and we'll show you what we mean.
Yeah, today, Philadelphia Eagles mascot Swoop and Philadelphia 76ers mascot Franklin. Check it out, they're rappelling down a 29-story building. This is not just for fun, everyone. The 2 mascots are raising money for the Philadelphia Outward Bound School, a nonprofit for local students. The goal is to raise more than $225,000 to fund outdoor education programs for public and charter school students there. Well, it looks like Franklin wanted to get this over with. Getting down there first. Swoop was taking his time. You know, I have a great idea, Susan. What if we did this on the 4 o'clock?
Oh,
Find a building to rappel?
Hey, that's a great idea. There's lots of worthy charities. Would you do it? I've never rappelled in my life. Have you ever done it?
Off a climbing wall, not off of a 29-story building.
All right,
Let's shake it up.
Yeah, what? Okay, there we go. You've just laid down the gauntlet.
I guess. All right, we'll be right back.
I'd do it. I'd definitely do it.
Tomorrow on Live at 4, if you haven't found your Halloween costume yet, fear not. Josh is in the 608 with a local shopping option. And later on News 3 Now at 5, we continue dissecting that dramatic video that shows the moment a fight led to a bus crashing into a Madison restaurant. Thanks for spending this time with us today on Live at 4. We'll see you back here tomorrow. And you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.